So now I want to talk to you about the most important skill that you can have without question to be able to be successful at our program here at Beacon. And it's funny because the skill has nothing to do with what you eat, and it has nothing to do with the food at all. It actually has to do with your mind. And the skill that I'm talking about is called the beginner's mind. And I want you just to think for a minute, like, well, what's a beginner's mind? And so, and I'm going to tell you, a beginner's mind is when you just are seeing something for the very, very first time. And I know how hard that might be for you because you've probably been on 1,000 diets, and frankly, our program is based in science, so there'll be a lot of things that I told you that you've heard before. And what I need to not just ask you, but I'm actually going to be begging you, is that you come to this with a beginner's mind. Intensive means is that you come to this as though it is the first time you've ever experienced this in your life. My stepfather happens to be a man with the best beginner's mind I ever saw in my life. So if you buy my stepfather even just the smallest gift, if you buy my stepfather this expo marker and you say, here you go, Dad, right? If you bought that for me, I might be that's an expo marker, thanks, what should I do with it? If you gave this to my stepfather with his beginner's mind, he would say, oh, wow, that is just such a wonderful marker. I'm so excited to use it. I'm so excited to see how this works. And so his experience in life is really different, right? So I want you to try with all the material that we're going to be teaching you in the next 8 weeks and all the work you're going to be doing in your individual sessions with your behavioral coach to really try to approach it with a beginner's mind. And if you look at your worksheet, that says, what is a beginner's mind? So a beginner's mind is having a really open mind. It's acting as if it's the first time you've ever heard this material, that it's the first time you've ever written down your food, that it's your first attempt at really making this. And I know how hard that must be for many people doing this. And then the last thing it is it's letting go of all of your opinions, and it's letting go of all your judgments and your techniques. It's getting really, really new and fresh. Let me just also remind you what it isn't, because this might be the most important piece. But it's not letting your past experience influence your work here. I mean, that is going to be really hard for you, but I want you to try so hard to do that. It's not being a know-it-all, right? It's not saying, oh, I already know that, right? Oh, I already heard that, right? Because we need for you to hear this information as though it's the first time. It's not worrying about the future. It's not sitting in the past, woe is me, right? And it's not prejudging a situation, right? It's not saying oh, there's no way I could do that, right? Oh, there's no way I could stop eating bread. Oh my God, there's no way I could write down my food. That's just not gonna work for us, right? That's definitely not a beginner's mind. And it's also not having this idea of whatever, done that before, been there, done that. So we need, and what you're gonna need to do is refresh your beginner's mind over and over and over again. And we're here to help you do that. I might point it out to you, your behavioral coach might point it out to you that you're not having a beginner's mind. That's how I think it is the most important skill that anybody can have here at Beacon.